Hey everyone, my name is Barb Herrera and this is Health at Any Cost. And today I wanted to talk about stress eating. I've actually had a couple of videos where I've talked a little bit about stress eating, not even knowing that I had stress eating, that I did that. I had no idea. And then as I got the new cancer diagnosis, which we'll talk about in a second, but as I got the second cancer diagnosis, I had 2 periods of like zoning out, trancing out. And my therapist yesterday gave me the word, it's disassociating. And so that's apparently what I did when I was really stressed and I ate without thinking about it. Well, now I've got a lot more stress going on. I'll explain that in 1 second as well. And I can't do it. I want to eat and I want to drink so bad. I want to I want to vanish for a little while in food and alcohol, but I'm not doing it. And it's really, really hard not to. But I want to be healthy. And especially now that I have 2 different kinds of cancer. I have malignant melanoma. I've had that since 2019. And then 5 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with CLL, SLL, which is chronic lymphocytic leukemia dash small lymphocytic lymphoma. And I have the SLL, but they're the same cell. They're the same exact disease. One just happens to live in the blood, which is a leukemia, and mine lives in the lymph nodes. All of my lymph nodes are all alight on the PET scan. So I've got cancer in all of my lymph nodes, including my lungs. And I had surgery a week ago Wednesday. Today's Friday, and I had surgery. And the surgery was to remove this lymph node under here, remove this cancer here, and remove this cancer here. And yesterday, well, in the ensuing days after surgery, I was having a really difficult time with the Dermabond, which is a glue, a purple glue that they put on over it because they suture underneath the skin, but then they want to seal it on top. So they did it with Dermabond. And last time we did this, I thought I had an infection. Turns out it was probably a Dermabond sensitivity. So this time I was itchy, itching, and I'm doing Benadryl and cortisone all over it. And I called and I said, I need some cortisone to take. And he said, well, come in and we'll take it off. And I was like, oh, well, duh. So I didn't get to see him till the next morning. So I took this Dermabond off of this one and I took the Dermabond off of this one, but I let him have it under my underarms. Sorry, I can't shave. I'm not allowed to shave right now, but there's the incision right there where the lymph node was taken out. So I go in that day, which was yesterday. I go in and happen to get on Wednesday night, I got the path report for the lymph node and also for the cancers that were removed as well. The lymph node showed the SLL, the lymphoma one, and we pretty much knew that anyway. It just was going to be that way because of the PET scan showing it everywhere and that sort of stuff. But what I didn't notice, because I was looking at the lymph node dissection, the path report, was when he was taking off the Dermabond under here, he says, you did see that I didn't get all the cancer here. And I said, no, I did not know that. So when they take the cancer out, when they take the skin out, they take the cells and they lay them underneath the microscope or however they do it. This cell stuff is amazing to me. But they slice it and then they're able to look at the cell underneath. And usually what happens is it's clean all the way around. That's called negative margins. That means that they got it all. Well, with this one, they have positive margins, which means he got part of it off, but the other part, the cancer zoomed out of the cell picture. So I have to get this one done again. Well, I also have this over here. I don't know if you can see it. I've shown lots of different pictures of it. This is one that goes from hairline to the edge of my eye. So I'm going to have to go to an oncologist that does faces and necks, which is good because I've got to get that one done again too. So all day today, I've been calling the surgeon that I was recommended to call, and I got 3 different answers of, well, it'll be 1 week before the Medicaid is approved, and then he's scheduling for this month, so that's good. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then the next person just happens to call me and says, well, it'll be 2 months before the Medicaid's approved, and it's about 4 months before you'll have surgery. And I was so confused. And then another person calls and says, let's schedule your surgery. And I said, wait. I said, what is going on here? I said, if you want to schedule it, that's fine. But I'm being told so many different things. She said, why don't you call your doctor, your surgeon, and see if he has somebody else for you to go to? And I'm just so upset. And I'm trying to stay focused and stay in the moment. I'm meditating a lot and trying really hard to not be scared and upset, but I am. And I want to eat. I want to eat to oblivion. I want to drink until I fall asleep drunk. And when I did that before, when there was that trancy kind of thing that I did when I was eating, and my therapist called disassociation, when I did that, when I got the cancer diagnosis, the second one, cancer diagnosis about 5 weeks ago, I purposefully said, I can't do that again. I can't disassociate and eat because that gets me into a lot of trouble. I've been on Mounjaro now. Well, I've been on GLP-1 since April of 2022. And I've been on Mounjaro since October of 23. And I'm in maintenance now. I've been in maintenance since mid-December of 24. And today is August 1st of 25. I'm on 15 milligrams, have been on 15 milligrams for almost 2 years now. In October, it'll be 2 years. And it works great, and it does really well. I can eat. As Christopher on the downside says, I can out eat it. That's how he describes it, and that's true. I can out eat it, but I still get this little whisper, this little voice in my head that says, stop eating. So when I'm eating something and I'm done, even though I'm not full, my body whispers this tiny little whisper to me. And it took me a long time to be able to hear that. I wasn't able to hear it for a long time. Never heard it before GLP-1s, never. If something had told me to stop, if a drill sergeant yelled in my face, stop eating, I would not have been able to stop eating. So now I'm in this place where I'm being conscious. I'm trying really hard to not overeat, to not eat the wrong things, to not order Uber Eats, to not walk to McDonald's, to not walk to Wendy's, because I walk everywhere. That's the other thing. I didn't walk for 2 days. I was that sad. And you all who know me, you know I walk every single day. Now, I had surgery last Wednesday. I took Thursday off. And then Friday, I walked. I walked 1.5 miles. Then on Saturday, I walked 5.5 miles. And then I just kept going through them. And then yesterday, I hate using the word depressed, but I don't know what other word to use. Despondent? Discouraged? It's incredibly frustrating to not know what's going to happen. And I talked to Megan, my daughter Megan, who has a channel, Small Things Daily, which is wonderful. It's a great channel. But I talked to her yesterday, and she gave me a great little pep talk because complaining, whining, whatever you want to call it, about not being able to know if I'd be able to go on the downsized cruise next year. And she said, Mom, nobody knows if they're going to be on that cruise. You just make the plan, and if you get to do it, you get to do it. I haven't seen my grandkids because I keep having surgery. I got to see Megan on the downsized cruise in June, and that was wonderful. But I feel like I'm missing a lot. So I didn't go walk those 2 days, but I walked today. But I had to go to Walmart to go get something. First, I went to walk to the gym and then did a workout on the gym. I worked my right arm, not my left arm, and did my legs as well. And then I had to walk to Walmart, which was fine, walk to Walmart. But while I was at Walmart, I only got like 2 little bags of stuff, and I almost called Uber. That is not like me. I don't want to turn back into what I was. I'm scared. I'm scared there's so much stress that I'm not able to cope with it without eating or without drinking as much as I want to. It's hard. I walked home. I didn't take Uber. I just talked to myself. I said, one foot in front of the other. It'll take longer to wait for an Uber to come before you could even get home walking. So I walked home, and then I was glad. And that's actually one of my strategies that I do is I say to myself, will I be happier if I don't do it? Or will I be happier if I do it? And so, of course, I'm going to be happier if I exercise. I'm going to be happier if I go to the gym, if I walk. But right now, everything seems so daunting. And I feel like there's so many other people that have worse things going on in their life. And I know there's no measuring cup for misery. I know that. I've told women in labor that 8,000 times, that there's no measuring cup for who has the most misery. Everybody has their own. But I feel like I should be grateful. I've got medical care. I've got, even if it takes a while to get. My surgeon's co-doctor called me this afternoon about 20 minutes ago and said, your doctor's probably going to call his friend and get you in sooner. And then there's a part of me that's like, yeehaw. And then the other part is, who am I shoving back? Am I going to shove somebody back with, breast cancer or cervical cancer? So there's that balance of, am I glad that I'm going to get maybe some special treatment to get surgery a little faster? And I think, well, if I don't get this taken off and I don't get this taken out, could I be sicker in 4 months than that person who has breast cancer? It's just so much. And I play these games in my head. They just go back and forth like a tennis match. And I have an argument for each side. That's the crazy part. I had therapy yesterday. I have therapy on Monday. I don't think she understands a whole lot. She wants to talk all about food. Well, I want to talk about food too, but I also want to talk about stress with food and how do we avoid putting things in our mouth that we know are not for our health. And I don't want to say aren't good for you, because everything can be good for you, but that's not good for your health or good for my health. I'll speak for myself. Not good for my health. I need to keep my glucoses down. The doctors, I told you all already, the doctor said if I had not lost the 280 pounds, I would not be here, or I would be gone before the end of this year. So I've done such great work to go from 405 pounds in April of 22 to today weighing 125. I don't want to undo that. And no, one binge isn't going to do it. But if one binge goes, then another binge is going to happen. And another, because that's my cycle. So I don't know why I'm even doing this except to let you all know that I'm just incredibly stressed and having a hard time, and knowing that you care. All of the comments, I read the comments over and over and over again. The comments that you all have been leaving are wonderful. They're very beautiful, good vibes, prayers, juju, whatever it is that you want to send me is fantastic. Know that I send it back to you as well. That I think of all of you as I read those comments. I feel great love for all of you. It is just so important to me to recognize the gifts that you give me. So thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just do this. What I would like to know, I think what I want to know in the comments, I want to know how you are doing an overarch over the compulsions that seem to come back with time. Yeah, I'm 3+ years into this, almost 3.5 years into this. But I watch people on YouTube and their hunger comes back, or their, I don't even have hunger. That's what's so bizarre about it, that their compulsions come back, or their desires, or their wishes, or they're going off their medication to be able to go on vacation so they can have treats and things like that. I'm taking my shot and I'm trying to live my life. I really, really am. That's, Christopher on Downsize says, take your shot. And I added, live your life. But sometimes when there's not a whole lot of life to live, but there is, that's what's so weird. I sound like such a depressed person. I thank y'all for listening to me. I don't even know an emoji to put in there. Certainly not a strong arm. Maybe tears. Because I've been crying. I love you all. And thank you so much for hanging out with me, even when I'm weird and don't have much to say. But I love you all lots. Thanks. Bye.